good friend of mine, Tim Carney, gave me this guitar. It was one piece, it was beige all along. But what happened is that the floor rose here was screwed. So these screws in here were over there, and it was pushing in this here. This is cracked over there. We can't see it on camera, but when we were activating the tremolo, it was pushing on this thing. So I knew I had to do something about it. The plan is simply to groove the guitar the same way this groove where the tremolo is. So I'll show you again. Right, just like that groove, but all the way. And then I'll be able to put an aluminum plate like this. Be able to put an aluminum plate in there, carved in the wood, and re-put those studs for the tremolo, and then it's never going to move again. Now the whole idea is this has to look nice on the guitar. It has to be incorporated in the design. So I'm going to do some sort of contemporary design. That's why I decided to do these holes. So as you can see, we got these holes, and these holes have different patterns. We got big, medium, small. The smalls have 3 dots around them. The medium have 3 dots like that, like a paw. And the big ones are like a constellation, a sun and 3 planets. I did the same thing with the neck, just so it's consistent as far as design goes. Now I'll be working on it to make these things thinner, just make it a really experimental ultralight guitar. Where there was 3 pots before, 3 switches plus 2 pots. I want to get rid of that. So I patched that with body filler. So what I'm going to do is I'm at the stage of the router. I'll pass the guitar on the heavy duty bit router. I'll try to remove as much wood as I can. Okay, the router's all done. Still have a lot to do, but as far as the body goes, see, we got all those holes made. We still have this to do with the router. Okay, now that we got the last step of the router done, we have this section here, the square for the piece of aluminum, and I also did the hole in the neck, which looks really nice. Now the next step is sanding. Now since I want to make these tips here smaller, I'm going to be using a heavy duty sandpaper on a 5-inch router sander. Start the sander and go. Alright. Then the guitar, I sanded it. All the rough is done. So now what we do is we go from a 60 grit sandpaper on the 5-inch to 100 sandpaper on the 4-inch. We've even done the soft sanding. So we got that thing just about ready to go. Same thing with the guitar. We've made more of a curve in the cutaway there so that the hand will go easier inside. We've beveled the block so we can make it work better, and we took lots of wood off everywhere. We thinned it up quite a lot. So now we gotta put a plate in there because of that crack that we had over here that was broken. Took an aluminum plate in here, used some drill bits, poke holes in there, then cut that piece of aluminum, sand it out to make it look nice. We're done cutting the aluminum plate, so we got a nice little piece of aluminum. Fit this thing on our guitar. Perfect. Really nice. We have clamped on our piece of aluminum to fix the bridge that was screwed up. I glued it with epoxy. It's just about dry, just about ready to go. And then while I was waiting for that, I got a first clear coat on the head of the neck. So I don't think it's gonna stay black. I just wanted to see how good my finishing is getting there. So what you do is you put a coat, sand, put a coat, sand until you're happy, you feel it's perfect. So sometimes the process takes many times, but this is the concept. This is how you get it done. So right now it's looking pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna need any more sanding than I did. It's just gonna be surface sanding and putting plenty of coat. At this point I still haven't decided what color I'm gonna do it. Okay, now it's time for primer. The objective is not to do a nice coat or anything. The objective is to saturate the wood so we are able to see where we've done a good sanding as opposed to where we still have to sand more. Okay, we have 2 coats of paint on it. She's gonna be another of my black guitars. All my guitars are black. So we got a bunch of coat of paints on the guitar. At this point, the paint is like a primer. All we're looking for is filler, wood filler. So there's still a lot to do with the holes. As you can see, lots of sanding. It's just the first thick layer of paint to seal up the wood and then keep going. In the meantime, what we did is we did the pickups, some sort of a bright, aggressive blue. They didn't really go as I would have liked to, but I'll do a couple more coats and it should be fine. It's a silver base with a couple coat of candy blue. So at this point all we're looking for is a pretty thin sanding grid to remove all the streaks, downs and stuff. We'll start with a 220 grid. We'll go with a setting very slow. In this case, what we do because of those circles is we use the stick in here and we just roll some sandpaper around it. Okay, and we're just going like that. We got some rough sanding done, and now we see where the studs are going to be, over here and over there. So at this point what we have to do is we have to re-drill to be able to put our studs in there, to be able to make that guitar to the point we wanted it, which is no visible repairs. Alright, so right now we're going to re-drill these holes. Alright, we got them redone. Whatever you work on, if you're working on a dirt bike, on a car, or on anything, you want to get yourself bins like that. I have miscellaneous size, I have some of them that are twice as big, bunch of bins, and you just put your screws in there. This is pretty straightforward for me anyway. If you're doing a complicated job, then you want to just have sticky note like that. You write the part, knob, and then you put it in the bin, right? Doing it that way, you can do any project, any mechanical project, anything related to that. You just keep things where they go and you put it back together at the end.